Welcome back, and we are here with one of my favorite segments that I really enjoy doing on the program. Is each of our shows, we are lucky enough to have board members that join us. For those of you that don't know, we have a dedicated group of school board members, school board trustees, that work tirelessly on many issues that affect our district. And we couldn't do the work that we do in the district without your help. And we are fortunate enough today to have two of our school board members that are here with us to discuss one of the many issues that you guys encounter. We couldn't do it without an active committee structure, basically, that taps into different issues. And one of those committees that we're going to talk about today is our audit committee. Okay. And with us today, we have Charles Cunningham. Thank you, Charles, for joining us. And then we have Angela Conrad.
Glad to be here.
Well, thank you. So Charles, tell us a little bit about our audit committee.
Well, the audit committee is really kind of composed of really two functions. We have what we call our external audit committees, and we got our internal. Audit committee department person actually reports to the board, but is supervised by yours truly right there, Dr. Sconzo. And our functions are basically designed to check the internal controls, the integrity of our financial structure, pretty much like a compliance officer. Okay. Andrew, you want to add to that?
I'll say also that they enforce ways to prevent fraud in the district, and also as an advisory role to some of our volunteer leaders that are leading our volunteer organizations such as booster clubs and PTA. Okay. So there's so many regulations federally and statewide, it can be quite intimidating. So it's helpful to have someone that can provide some resources for them and a little guidance as well.
And we're really fortunate. I mean, we've got a tremendous director of internal audits, I think. And I guess the question I would have, and admittedly I know the answer, but
tell me.
Right, this is a test. So I think for most of us, when we hear the word audit, we think solely of finances and accounting and those kinds of issues, but really it's much more than that. So I guess my question is, so what other areas, and Angela, you're new to the committee this year, but what other areas of audit, internal audit, have you all had experience with that really kind of go beyond the finances, so to speak?
Well, and that's what I was talking about, kind of like compliance, when we're, with the various, say when employees are leaving the district. And so we'll go back in and just do a checks and balance of the records and stuff to make sure everything is in order. Even, let's say, in our support services, just making sure that the proper ins and outs of our fuel and all of our inventory, if you will, and that doesn't require, well, it's numbers in a sense, but, it's just the checks and balance of that part that we look at. The number portion that you're talking about, that's really done basically by our external audit, which really focuses more on our financial service department to make sure that we are, that our books are in proper order, our numbers are accurate, things of this nature.
And I would just add that, from our standpoint in our role, we're concerned with the effective and efficient use of all district resources, and that's not just limited to finances. So with the auditor's recommendations that come through the process, not only are we seeing what's happening now, but she makes recommendations for how to be more efficient in all of our processes. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, as you stated, very broad.
Very broad. And I would add, though, Guy, that the audit committee really touches basically all of our committees. Because, we have our finance committee, we have our building and planning committee, the program evaluation, all those are being touched by, the audit committee.
Yeah, good point.
So,
good point.
So how often is it annually? Do you do planning? Is it long-term?
And I did forget to say that when we first came on. Every, I want to say probably July 1st, whereabouts, the plan for next year's audits, what areas are we going to look at is being done by the superintendent and the chairman of the audit committee, which I've been the last 2 years. And so we review that plan. Guy basically okays it, and they're set to work for the following year.
Okay, so they're annually
It's
then.
an annual. It's an
Okay.
annual, but they're working. I mean, I'm thinking, Guy, what is it? Over 800 hours, or how many hours?
Oh, sure,
It's put
throughout
in?
the course of a year
Throughout the
on
course of
various
years.
audits.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's real, kind of a busy crew there, that department internally, and I think the department now, since they just brought somebody in, is probably 3 people.
Correct.
I want to say that there's 3 people in the internal audit division. We're not unusual. There are some districts that have internal audits. Most districts don't, but it really works well for us and board members to know exactly what's going on within the district, and as Angela pointed out, how resources are being used and are they being used properly.
Great. And I think the other point, Angela, you made is really key, at least from my perspective, and that is it's as much about helping operations to be better as it is about assuring compliance. I mean,
And God, that's a good point, because it's not a got you type
Right.
thing. It's just really just identifying weaknesses and strengthening those, and most people, when they say, okay, I'm being audited, it's like, oh Lord, no.
Yeah, it has a negative connotation. Right,
It's
right.
negative, but it's really not, though, because we have a great board here, and we're looking to see what's good for the district and what's good for the taxpayers. So.
Well, and I think the work that you guys do, obviously, in conjunction with performing these audits, it's really helping us to have a more efficient and effective
Absolutely.
district at the end of the day. So yeah, take away the negative connotations. We're just making sure that we're spending the money the way we're supposed to be spending it, and we're doing it in ways that if it could go elsewhere, that maybe it would be better spent. But
And safeguarding our assets
absolutely,
as well.
absolutely. Well, thank you both for joining us today. We appreciate it, and thank you for the work that you give to the school district. We know you both have jobs that are outside of this responsibility that you have, but we couldn't do it without you guys, and we appreciate your diligent look at our financials and making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.